This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the Daily FX Forum.
So here are the four pairs that I will be discussing this evening: the Euro Pound, the Aussie Kiwi, the Pound Swiss, the Euro Swiss, as well as the Euro Aussie. Make it 5 pairs. So the first chart is the Euro Pound. If you recall, during yesterday's report, I said I did not see any clear imminent trade setups. The only thing I do see is this clear resistance line, but price is actually reversed back beneath this previous support line, which acted as resistance. Prices then moved above it. It acted as support. It's getting a little bit ugly, this line, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove it right now, and again use these two levels, which would be 88.40 and the upper resistance line here, which is around the 91 figure. But with the holiday week, this is something that we could speak about on Monday. The next chart is the Aussie Kiwi, and that trade from 24.60 with a stop at 24.10. If you entered, you were stopped out, and that's okay. That's just part of trading, and this decline continues. We might look for prices now to hit the opposite side of this previous resistance line, and this was the breakout here, but again, that's something I can update next week. The next chart is the Pound Swiss, and if you recall, during yesterday's report and 2 reports back, I actually mentioned an entry at 166.60 with a 166.50 with a stop at 167.25. I did not update that during the last 2 reports, but you might have entered on that trade recommendation, and if you did, right now we can see prices actually came above the line and with a brief spike, and then closed back beneath it. The high on this candle was 67.02, so you would still be in that trade. Looking forward right now, I still like this trade idea, using the opposite side of this previous support line to act as resistance. The only issue is prices right now at about 66.46, so I would go ahead and initiate the same trade right here, short 66.50 with a stop at 67.25. Again, short 66.50 with a stop at 67.25. The next chart is the Euro Swiss, and if you recall, during yesterday's report, I like the doji here and getting long off that doji. The low of the doji candle was 48.50. The entry yesterday was 148.78 with a stop at 148.40. So if you're flat right now, or you didn't listen to yesterday's report, you can go ahead and enter right now at 48.63, and again, place the stop at 148.40. The next chart is the Euro Aussie, and also here prices did draft a borderline doji candle, but right now it looks like prices have exceeded it. When I looked at this before, they had not. The low there is 159.93, and the low now here is 159.85, so that kind of nullifies this trade idea. And it is a holiday week, so tomorrow or even later this evening you might want to go ahead and exit some of these trades if you're not prepared to hold over this long weekend. Again, my name is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the Daily FX Forums. And I wish everybody a happy and healthy new year. I want to take this opportunity to formally welcome you all to the Daily FX Forums. I want to go through the process of how I personally access the forums, and how maybe you at home, if you want to access the forums in the future, might do so. The first thing you would do is go to www.dailyfx.com, and that will bring up, obviously, dailyfx.com, and usually there on the upper right hand corner I'll go ahead and click on where it says forum, and that will bring up the first page of the forums. And this view, I personally don't use this view, but this view actually shows you the most recent posts on all the threads within the different sections, and a little detail about those posts, so you can read through and see if there's something catches your interest. But personally, I go ahead and just click on forums and view them in the more traditional sense. Now, these are different threads within the forum. There's a section on education, such as Daily FX course instructor tips, which would be good for newer traders, and then for more advanced traders. And I just want to go ahead, personally, the way I use the forums is I would go through the individual threads, just looking for trade ideas, maybe looking at charts, looking at certain lines that maybe I didn't put up on my chart, but another trader might have put up on their chart. I tend to, shy away from using direct trade recommendations from other forum members, but it helps me to sort of even out my analysis, make sure that I'm seeing things with the right mind, in terms of I might be missing stuff that other traders can see, and that's my personal way of using the forum. Every trader is going to be a little bit different in how they use it. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to become an active participant of the members, you would have to go ahead and register. So that's what I'm going to go through now, is the registration process. So assuming you're brand new to the forums, or maybe you've been here a few times and you're not really sure how it works, so I just want to walk through again the registration process. This would be the front page where you would access, or the previous page. You'd have the same little box here on the left hand side. My username and password are already filled out here, but assuming you're a new member, you would click on where it says register, and that will bring up the registration page. If you give me one moment here while my browser loads. And actually first we're going to have some terms of service and DailyFX forum rules. I do suggest reading through the forum rules. Obviously, you know, profanity and spam and things like that are not allowed, but it also gives you insight on, you know, how to use the forum and how different traders can use it, you know, in terms of their individual needs. So you would go down to the bottom there, you'd click on where it says I have read all the rules, and then you would go ahead to the register, the formal registration page, and that will bring up here. And you can go ahead and select the username, and how about we'll use 4x, and that name is already in use, so maybe add a few more x's there. Again, it really, you know, your individual username is up to you, and you go ahead and fill in your password, your email address. Now, the most difficult aspect of registration for the DailyFX forums will be figuring out these letters in the box here. Now, I'm a semi-intelligent person, but I have a very difficult time figuring out which letters and numbers to use. Now, there is a reason for this madness. It helps with security, but I would suggest just going ahead and keep on clicking that refresh image until something comes through that you can actually identify and see. Then you can go ahead and enter your birthday, but you can decide whether or not to display that to other forum members. And then also, if you were referred by somebody, you can enter that information there. The time zone, that should default to your computer, but you should, you know, double check and make sure. And then you can opt in, and I would, you know, suggest opting in for these emails in terms if the administrators want to go ahead and send you some notices about the forum, and then you would complete registration. Now what happens is they would send you an email to the email address that you put up here, and that email will include a link, and all you would have to do is go ahead and click on that link, and that link will bring you inside the forum, and you would now be a member of the DailyFX forums. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening.